You know that sensation when you're standing at the edge of something so significant that your body responds before your thoughts can organize themselves? That subtle charge moving through your spine, the brief hesitation in your breath, the feeling that something is quietly suspending time for a moment. It's not dramatic, it doesn't announce itself. It simply arrives as a knowing that can't yet be explained. That experience isn't imagination, it's perception. Right now, you're positioned at a threshold that doesn't rely on metaphor or symbolism. This is a real internal moment, one that divides life into what came before and what follows after. Long before the mind can assign meaning, the body recognizes that something fundamental is shifting. These moments rarely come with clarity. They come with sensation first. A heightened awareness, a subtle tension, a quiet alertness that signals change without revealing its shape. It's as if everything slows just enough for you to notice that you've reached the edge of a deeper transition. There's a consistent pattern that appears right before genuine transformation begins. Restlessness sets in without a clear cause. Sleep becomes lighter, fragmented. Conversations lose their meaning. Activities that once felt engaging now feel distant, as though they belong to another version of life entirely. The immediate assumption is that something has gone wrong. People interpret this phase as loss of motivation, confusion, or a lack of direction. They search for ways to regain momentum, believing they've somehow drifted off course. But this interpretation misses what's actually happening. This state isn't dysfunction, it's recalibration. An internal system begins adjusting long before external circumstances change. Priorities shift quietly. Sensitivity increases. Old stimuli stop producing the same response because something deeper is reorganizing itself beneath awareness. What feels like emptiness is often space being created. What feels like dissatisfaction is frequently discernment developing. And what feels like uncertainty is usually the mind catching up to a process that started elsewhere. None of this is accidental. The mind resists because it prefers familiarity. But the system guiding you understands timing differently. The experiences that have appeared over the past months were not random interruptions scattered through your life. They formed a sequence, even if that sequence wasn't obvious at the time. Interests emerged without explanation. Certain ideas began pulling your attention repeatedly. Conversations unexpectedly carried more depth than planned. Quiet moments appeared where your focus drifted outward, drawn towards something that didn't yet have a name. None of this was accidental. Preparation rarely announces itself as preparation. More often it feels subtle, unproductive, or even confusing. From the outside, it can resemble stagnation. Internally, however, something precise is taking place. Consider what happens in the moments before a rocket launches. The structure remains still. There is no visible motion, no dramatic indication of progress. Yet beneath that surface stillness, pressure is building. Systems are synchronizing. Measurements are being refined. Every component is adjusting itself toward a single moment of release. What appears inactive is actually exact. Your life has followed a similar pattern. There were periods when progress felt delayed, when momentum seemed absent. Opportunities hovered nearby, but never fully materialized. Doors opened briefly, offering a glimpse, then closed again without explanation. This wasn't rejection, it was sequencing. Movement without internal readiness leads to collapse. Expansion without structure creates instability. What was forming required a different internal configuration, one that could only develop through patience, restraint, and observation. The stillness wasn't empty time. It was necessary time. It ensured that when movement arrived, it wouldn't overwhelm you. That when momentum returned, it would carry direction rather than urgency. What you experienced as waiting was, in reality, alignment assembling itself beneath the surface. As this process unfolded, a deeper change took place. Not suddenly and not always consciously. Your standards adjusted. Your tolerance for misalignment decreased. Situations that once felt acceptable began to feel subtly off. The impulse to explain yourself or justify your choices started to fade, not out of resistance, but out of clarity. This wasn't withdrawal from life, it was refinement. Earlier versions of you operated from necessity. They reached for what was available. They prioritized movement over alignment, momentum over precision. That approach served a purpose during a phase when stability was still forming. But what's approaching now requires something different. The version of you from months ago would not have been able to sustain what's emerging, not because of a lack of desire or capability, but because internal capacity hadn't fully matured. That version would have accepted partial fulfillment without recognizing that something far more precise was possible. It would have mistaken proximity for suitability. Along the way, discernment replaced urgency. Instead of chasing what appeared within reach, you began noticing what felt coherent. Instead of forcing outcomes, you became responsive to timing. Effort that once felt necessary began to feel heavy, not because effort is wrong, but because misaligned effort creates friction. This shift didn't occur randomly. It happened because whatever is meant to meet you requires compatibility, not just external readiness, but internal stability, the ability to receive without grasping, to engage without self-abandonment, to expand without distortion. That's why the timing now feels different. Not mystical, practical. You've built resilience, clarity, and trust in your own perception. What's forming isn't sudden. It's the natural result of everything you've integrated along the way. Recently, movement has taken on a quieter quality. Life feels less force-driven and more internally guided, similar to traveling a familiar route and realizing later that every turn was navigated without conscious effort. Something beneath awareness has been orienting direction while the mind focused on surface concerns. Subtle indicators began appearing. People responded differently. Conversations unfolded in ways that opened unexpected paths. Information surfaced precisely when needed, not earlier, not later. Encounters carried meaning without requiring explanation. Moments like these rarely announce themselves dramatically. They arrive inside ordinary days, in messages easily overlooked, in phone calls almost ignored, in interactions that seem casual until their significance becomes clear. What distinguishes this phase from earlier ones is not the presence of opportunity, but your internal relationship to it. Waiting no longer feels tense. There is less urgency, less grasping. What remains is readiness. Old strategies stop working not because something is wrong, but because they were designed for a different internal state. Systems built around force, proving, or constant effort feel restrictive now. What replaces them isn't passivity, but alignment. Alignment changes how energy moves. Resistance decreases. Effort becomes cleaner. Action feels simpler because it no longer carries internal conflict. Trust becomes essential here. Not blind trust, but informed trust. The kind that recognizes preparation without demanding guarantees. The path no longer reveals itself all at once. It unfolds progressively, step by step, responding to presence rather than pressure. This is where flow replaces force, not because circumstances suddenly improve, but because it becomes coherent with who you've become. This moment isn't defined by pursuit, it's defined by recognition. What once felt like waiting was actually integration. Time spent consolidating internal capacity, clarifying values, and stabilizing perception. The preparation wasn't visible, but it was precise. You now possess the ability to receive without losing yourself, to engage opportunity without compromising alignment, to move forward without needing constant validation or guarantees. When the invitation presents itself, and it won't require persuasion. It will register as familiar, even if its form is new. The hesitation that once appeared has been replaced by clarity. There's no urgency to act prematurely, and no need to delay out of caution. What matters now is responsiveness, the capacity to recognize what aligns and allow engagement to unfold naturally. This isn't the beginning of something accidental. It's the continuation of a process that's been forming quietly beneath awareness for a long time. The convergence you're experiencing isn't coincidence, it's consequence. The shift isn't approaching from the future. It's present in the way perception has stabilized, in the way urgency has softened, and in the way trust has replaced control. When movement resumes fully, it will feel grounded rather than overwhelming, directed rather than chaotic, familiar rather than foreign. This moment doesn't require explanation. It requires presence. And from that place, everything that follows will unfold with far greater precision than force ever could.